He was just a guest, quiet, distant, holding his daughter's hand like it was the only thing keeping him grounded. No one noticed him at first. But when the bride walked past everyone, straight to him, took his hand, and said, "Dance with me," before he notices, everything changed. If this story touches your heart, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more powerful, real-life inspired stories. Let's begin. Weddings are supposed to be magical, a celebration of love, laughter, and new beginnings. But for Daniel Rivers, it was just another reminder of how alone he'd become. He wasn't supposed to be there, really, not emotionally, at least. Just a +1 to his sister, who was catering the event. A single dad, barely 32, Daniel had long since forgotten what joy felt like, not since Emily, his late wife, passed away from cancer 3 years ago. Since then, his world revolved around one small, fragile heartbeat, his 7-year-old daughter, Lily. He sat quietly at the back table, away from the crowd. Lily clung to his arm, excited by the lights, the music, the soft chatter floating through the air like magic. But Daniel? He just watched, like life was happening through a glass wall. It was the bride's moment, and everyone's attention was on her, except hers. Amelia Hayes had never been the traditional bride. Daughter of a powerful business family, she had spent most of her life under the shadow of her father's reputation. Her wedding to Andrew, her high school sweetheart, was arranged more for convenience than for love. They had history, yes. But the love? It had faded long ago. And yet, here she was, in a perfect white dress, smiling for photographs, pretending the butterflies in her stomach were excitement, not doubt. As Amelia scanned the room during a slow moment between speeches, her eyes caught something, or someone, that made her pause. A man in a worn gray suit. Sitting at the back with a child on his lap, smiling gently down at her, whispering in her ear. There was something about him. Not his looks, though he was handsome in that quiet, tired way. It was the pain in his eyes, the kind only someone who had truly lost knew how to hide. That's when she recognized him. Daniel. She remembered now, her caterer's brother. A single father. Widowed. Something stirred in her. She didn't know why. But she couldn't look away. Later, after the dinner and the toasts, the dance floor opened. Everyone rose to celebrate. But Daniel remained seated, sipping water, his daughter resting her sleepy head on his shoulder. And then Amelia did something no one expected, not even herself. She walked away from the center of the celebration. Away from Andrew, her new husband who was too busy laughing with his friends to notice. Away from expectations. She stopped in front of Daniel. He looked up, confused, surprised. And she whispered, with a soft smile, "Dance with me." Before he notices. Daniel's heart skipped. What? She didn't wait. She reached out her hand like it was the most natural thing in the world. Lily stirred in his arms and blinked up at the beautiful bride. "Daddy, she wants to dance with you." He hesitated. But something in Amelia's eyes told him, this wasn't about romance. Not yet. It was about being seen. And so, he took her hand. The music was soft, a piano melody echoing through the venue. As they swayed slowly, Amelia whispered, "You looked like you needed a moment to remember what it's like to be alive." Daniel chuckled softly, eyes glistening. "You have no idea. I lost my mom when I was 9, she added. My dad never recovered. He still hasn't. I saw that same look in your eyes." Daniel swallowed hard, eyes drifting toward Lily, who watched from the corner with a dreamy smile. "She's the only reason I get up in the morning." "That's enough," Amelia said, her voice trembling. "Sometimes one reason is all it takes." They danced for a minute. Then two. No one said a word. It was as if the entire hall had fallen into a pocket of silence around them. And then, Amelia turned to go. But before she left, she said something that haunted Daniel for weeks: "We're all allowed second chances, even when they come wearing a wedding dress." Life resumed. Amelia flew off for her honeymoon, though Daniel heard she returned early, alone. Gossip followed, as it always does. Rumors of trouble in paradise. That she and Andrew had separate rooms. That they'd called it quits quietly, without a scene. Daniel never asked. It wasn't his place. But one day, while walking Lily to school, he saw her again. At the coffee shop down the block. She smiled when she saw him. Not like a woman burdened by scandal or regret, but like someone who had found something genuine in a world full of pretense. "Still dancing?" she teased. He laughed. "Only when I'm not tripping over Barbie dolls." They sat. Talked. And kept talking. Over weeks, and then months. It wasn't love at first sight. It was healing at first conversation. Daniel was cautious. So was Amelia. He still carried scars, and she had just walked away from a marriage everyone thought was perfect. But they both found something sacred in each other, a space where they didn't have to pretend. Lily adored her. Called her Millie, and begged her to come over every Friday night for pizza and movie marathons. They laughed more. Smiled easier. Daniel started painting again, a hobby he'd abandoned when Emily passed. Amelia started volunteering at the Children's Hospital, where Lily once spent a night recovering from the flu. It wasn't fast. It wasn't flashy. It was real. 2 years later, under a tree in the same garden where Amelia's wedding was held, Daniel held her hand once more. This time, she wore no dress. This time, Lily stood beside them, grinning. And this time, when Amelia whispered, "Dance with me," there was no one else to notice. Because this dance wasn't stolen, it was chosen. Sometimes, the most beautiful beginnings happen when we least expect them, when we're just surviving, not hoping for more. And sometimes, it takes one brave soul reaching out their hand to remind us, we're still alive, and we still deserve joy.